Oh, yes. It is time to bring the Monday morning ruckus. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne, and this is Things You Might Have Heard. Back from a short hiatus from Friday. I want to thank everybody for all the mentions, all the talk we had over the weekend. Had to take care of some family business, great big family vacation, a family gathering we had over the weekend. So a lot of great times I had reaching out with folks and getting a little feedback from what I got going on in person, which was great. But now back to business, back to getting things back in some semblance of order. Back to classes. We're having one of those days, so we're going to read as we were prescribed to take things going. Also back with a few new tricks. So if you like what you're seeing today, give me some feedback on what's going on. Now, today is Monday, and on Mondays, we provide an extra level of coverage, if you will, where we are broadcasting to all my J. Cleveland Payne profiles across the internets, including LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube. So if you're getting this on today and don't see it tomorrow, make sure you go back and you subscribe to our main YouTube channel. All the information is found at our main website. This is aconversationproject.com. Now, this podcast, this video thing, this thing we're about to do is going to give you today, I believe, 10 different stories that we pulled out from over the weekend. We put stories posted every 50 minutes or so throughout our social media. We're a little lacking this week because, I had the weekend to do a bunch of stuff going on. And so we gathered for you this morning from the top stories vetted by you and algorithms and things that seem important. From the top 30 stories of about 85 stories that were posted over the weekend, listing of 10 stories to get you through your water cooler for the weekend. So hopefully these are stories you did not pick up on, or these are at least some semblance of a commentary by me that you might not have thought of. For more details, like we said, stop by our main website. This is aconversationproject.com. And also there, you can see ways that you can help things out by visiting more of our sponsors. The main sponsor is YouTube TV, just in time for sports. And of course, you can also find a way to partner up with us directly. Let's get into the dealio, since we got lots of stuff to get into. Starting off with story that would basically overcame the whole weekend, overcame everything with all the stuff going on, including a lot of bad things happening. There was a lot of big celebration, a lot of coverage taken to Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee, 70 years on the throne. One headline that came apart about this, other than the fact that Charles was there instead of Prince Albert, and the Queen was actually sick for a lot of it, or just kind of laying low because she is, 90 years old, was the fact that Meghan and Harry were there. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were actually at the Jubilee, actually at the celebration, but they weren't actually at a lot of celebrations. They had to skip the luncheon. They were booed at the Jubilee events. It was all sorts of insanity. Now, remember, they couldn't sit with the Queen and the family because they're not working royals. They're technically they're in the family, but they're not actually a part of the royal family doing all the royal family things every day. And there was lots of bad blood talk between both William and Harry because of how Harry and Meghan, of course, portrayed the family, and William in particular, in lots of interviews and lots of things, including in the Oprah thing, basically making William looking like an idiot for not going along with what's going on. Because of that, Harry is still in the family, and the kids that Harry and Meghan have are still grandkids to the Queen, and have one of the greatest grandmothers ever. But what it turns into is it's a whole lot of drama. This is better than Bravo, if you will, for the weekend if you're into those sorts of things. Let's move on to story number 2, and that is GoFundMe shuts down after $1.1 million Amber Heard fundraiser. Let me read that again. GoFundMe shuts down $1 million Amber Heard fundraiser to help pay Johnny Depp. Much better read. TMZ, the source on that one. We're going to actually give you a bit of an image from the TMZ to go along with that one as well. Now, Amber Heard did not see very much public support during the Johnny Depp Amber Heard deposition, during the trial for essentially John Depp saying that this op-ed that she wrote ruined his career because he had no real jobs afterwards. All that is kind of fuzzy math, if you will, but we do know that people on the internet hate Amber Heard more than they hate Johnny Depp. Well, somehow, some way, someone set up a GoFundMe for Amber Heard to help her pay her $15 million legal bills, although it's not going to be that much because Johnny Depp had, some to kind of claim that. $1 million was where it was at the point till GoFundMe said nope. These things happen. Now, what they really were sort of concerned with was this was actually not going to go to Amber Heard, but someone was just saying, "Oh, Amber Heard's such a poor, sad soul who has going to be blasted because she stood up for domestic abuse. We need to help her out." And then in the process, they would help them out from this fake fundraiser. You have to be Amber Heard to do a fundraiser for yourself, and you have to be Amber Heard to, or not Amber Heard, I guess, to not have sympathy for the whole dealio. So that turned into nothing. So hopefully you got your money back. Wales beat Ukraine in playoff to qualify for first World Cup final since 1958. This is not the happy song for the Ukrainians who are not going to the World Cup, but for Wales. Wales going to the World Cup for the first time in almost 70 years. Congratulations to Wales for doing that. Congratulations for Ukraine for battling as far as you could. But of course, not the feel-good story there. And with the other kind of flip to the coin of that is Ukraine just reached 103, I think today is 103rd day of war with Russia in its own country. And the war continues. And we are dealing with some Ukraine fatigue. Things like this, Ukraine, the sports team, the soccer team fighting for their lives, pun intended, and doing what they can to be in the grand spotlight, does help, is helping in keeping people engaged what's going on. But we know as Americans, we get pretty bored when the numbers start to dwindle and things get long as we do. So without the constant barrage of, salacious pictures of the war, it gets a little dull, if you will. Hopefully we won't be so dull by this, and we as the world can help outlast what's going on. And we also hope that Ukrainians find a way to speed up the activities, because war is never good anywhere. Next story. Rafael Nadal wins 14th French Open title, 22nd Grand Slam, becomes oldest champ in tourney history. ESPN.com gave us that story. And this was a fight. This was a thing where Nadal had to basically get injections for pain all weekend long, make sure he can stay into the match. And he first had to defeat the enemy that is his rival, Novak Djokovic. He had to get past him in the quarterfinal on Tuesday. So he had to get past him early in the matches, and then Sunday overwhelmed Casper Ruud in straight sets to get the actual title. His is a 22nd Grand Slam, which is one record. It's 14th French Open wins. John McEnroe is basically saying no one's going to do this ever again. Essentially, you have to basically count your wins right now and kind of go forward with this. This is akin to Tiger Woods doing all his great things and then getting hurt and being able to, and was basically derailed from going through the process of being on top or being a top contender because he was so far ahead, and then losing his abilities, if you will, basically made him mortal. Now other people are catching up, but they have ways to catching up to get to. Here, Nadal right now is going to be listed as one of the greatest, if not in debates for greatest, because he's reached feats that is going to be hard to get to. And like I said, some people said that's a number. These numbers won't be coming back anytime soon, the way he's played. Now let's go to another story on sports and the way he's played story. Former NBA number 2 pick Michael Beasley reportedly getting 7-figure deal to play in China. This is from uk.news.yahoo.com, our source on this. But trust me, this is a big deal, and players have words for this thing. Now, I'm a person who was actually pretty geeked about the Derrick Rose and Michael Beasley draft when they came out 1 and 2, only to find that they did not Derrick Rose eventually picked things up, but Michael Beasley, of course, flamed out pretty easy. Other than some really bad tattoos and bad attitude, Michael Beasley, with all the talent in the world, these people believe it was, did not work out very well for much of any teams, and wasn't very great as a supportive player or a player in the locker room, as you will. So the rumors have it, we'll see next 4 days what point pans out, that he's going to China, which a lot of people do to keep on playing, and he's going to get paid 7 figures to do that. Now, is that because he's a sideshow freak and people over in China will go see really cool bees play basketball or try to play basketball without going nuts in the process? Or is he actually going to contribute to the Shanghai Sharks? Here's the real thing. Let's say he's not very good. Say he's really awful or he's losing a step. He's at 33 years old, by the way. He can't keep up like he could. Here's the big thing. Is he going to go sell insurance? Can he go work construction? And one of the problems with people who hang on to sports too long is they really have no actual marketable skills going forward. All they did was play enough ball that they played ball. And if they gather enough money, they can keep going with endorsements, things like that. Michael Beasley does not have that luxury because he had a lot of issues and he's burnt a lot of bridges in the process of being Michael Beasley. We'll see if this seven figures will help him take care of his money now, take care of his money in the future, and whether he's on his last stand and can go back to doing something from China. China, not the easiest place to live right now, but it's a living, and seven-figure deals are seven-figure deals. White House postpones Biden's trip to Saudi Arabia and Israel. So what's up with this? Why is this a big deal? Well, the Israel trip, I don't think Biden's been to Israel yet since he became the president. So that's a trip to see what's going on there and all the craziness and sort of patching up sort of the things where, because oddly enough, Trump was so involved with Netanyahu and Israel and doing all the things to make Israel happy, and Biden's not quite doing that. So there's some patch of work to do to keep the Biden administration back in good graces with Israel. But here's the real deal for the trip overseas, a trip to that 8 region, in the main point is oil. We need oil. The world needs oil. Oil is a big deal right now. And in the trip to Saudi Arabia, there was a rumored possible meeting between the president and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, of course, MBS. MBS was promised, at least Biden promised, to treat him as a pariah based on the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. But this is about oil. We will see if this meeting happens coming forward, and we'll see how we play it up because it's about oil. Although it's not a big push, it's only about a month or so because there's a lot of things going on here in the States. But we will see what happens in about a month and whether that meeting does occur and if the pariah status will stand for MBS. Let's go on to this one. Fetterman, cardiologist, says Democrat who had stroke suffers from arterial fibrillation and cardiomyopathy. CNN.com with that story. And this is basically a cover your ass story. Now, let's go deeper into this one. Let's hope that the ads don't actually flip up on this one while we do this. John Fetterman is running for the Senate in Pennsylvania. He's going to run against Dr. Oz, apparently, because they declared Oz the winner over the weekend, or the other guy basically conceded to Oz. They're finishing the recount. The problem is he had a stroke like 2 days before the election and hasn't been seen on the campaign trail for weeks. His doctor, being Mr. Dr. Ramesh Shirandra, said that Fetterman is fine, gave a glowing report that says if he follows his diet regimen and his exercise regimen and does what he needs to do, he'll be a fine senator. He'll be able to do what he needs to do. He also said in the process is that Chandra had been treating Fetterman since 2017 and told him all this stuff 5 years ago. So Fetterman basically had a 5-year window of knowing that he was in bad health, probably even longer than that, and just not doing what he needed to do, and eventually caught up to him when he was running for the Senate. This is his cardiologist. The cardiologist did not actually treat him for his actual stroke, but his cardiologist is saying that, yeah, he can be healthy enough to be a good senator if he does what he needs to do. And I already told him this years ago. We'll see how long it takes for Mr. Fetterman to get back on his meds, get back on his routine, and get back on his feet, of course, because he is running for the Senate. Fired Buffalo 911 dispatcher blames caller Latisha Rogers. Latisha Rogers, whose name's now in people's mouths, is the caller who was whispering inside the grocery store as the gunman fired shots around the place. And the 911 operator who took that call, who could not understand what was going on because, she was whispering, is blaming her. The union plans to file a grievance for Sheila E. Ayers and her termination over the treatment of the shooting and survivor, Latisha Rogers, because of that. Now, it's good there's a union to fight for the job of the dispatcher, but there's also a lot of backlash, which you would expect, because one of the most jarring issues we heard very early in the thing going on in Buffalo, the thing, we'll just call it the thing right now, is the fact that they were playing 911 calls. There's a lot of things going on. We heard about the stalking of the store and scoping things out. But we heard really early about this 911 call where someone was hung up on because they whispered, and it seemed like it was a bit over exaggeration. Apparently, litigation is going to show that it's not an over exaggeration. It is real. It is far from spectacular. It is not a good look for anyone. Let's go to Meta, or actually Sheryl Sandberg, who's being investigated for using corporate resources to plan a wedding. The New York Post with the source on this one. This is not so much about Sheryl Sandberg using the corporate resources to plan the wedding, because she probably did. I mean, how many of us have borrowed staplers, taken home pictures?
When it comes to sports.
Oops. Thank you. When it comes to sports, we don't need you. I think it'll stay quiet for a while. It won't go away. That's how they making money, folks. They make them play automatically, and I can't stop it. So it's going to go in a second. So we'll go with that. So Meta is not being investigated. Sheryl Sandberg is being investigated for trying to use the resources of her tech giant company to plan her wedding. This is comes report. So when she announced that she was leaving Meta, Facebook Meta, and that she is going to do politics, maybe, people said, there are reasons why big time business people don't do so great in the world of politics. Entertainers, oddly enough, do great in politics because a lot of it is just playing at the people. But for big time business people who are used to people actually getting things done or doing things or pretending to do things, politics in Congress is not exactly the same cup of tea. What I noticed in this one, and what I noticed for essentially anyone who goes into politics from some other big venue, there's a lot of vetting that happens, a lot of actual vetting, a lot of things that people find out about stuff that just goes under the radar. I can say for with full honesty that I have not taken a ream of paper from my current employer, but I've taken reams of papers from employers before. And while it's not a fireable offense, that is using company resources for personal stuff. I've used computers to work on projects and things like that. When I worked at the radio station, I spent my weekends when I was working on my MBA in my office, the radio station, working on papers, doing stuff because it was a quiet place to work, and I could play football in the background on Sundays. So it's not a uncommon thing for people to use company resources for personal things. It's not an uncommon thing for people who are at the top echelons to abuse company resources for their own personal things. But it's one of those things where people just assume it happens if you're in corporate, as opposed to they peg you for those things when you're trying to be a public official. And yes, running for Feinstein's seat in California is a public official gig. And finally, Mariah Carey is being sued for All I Want for Christmas Is You by a songwriter. Deadline.com giving us this one. And because, it is June, not July, and so it's literally put Christmas in her head, we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. And this is a funny dealio, a funny thing going on in the world of Mariah Carey, where All I Want for Christmas Is You is the title of her song that gets all over your heads and your ears come Christmas time. There's another song called All I Want for Christmas Is You by Vince Vance and the Valiants, produced in 1989. That's where they're saying it's being infringed. The writer of that song, Andy Stone, is claiming that that song is being infringed by the name and some of the likeness of the melody and lyrics. Now, basically saying All I Want for Christmas Is You is the lyric that's repeated, and a slight tint of something that sounds like a melody that Mariah Carey is singing is from there. And of course, she samples a lot of stuff and she pays the rights for stuff. But we're going to find out if the songwriter, because when you do music and do songs, you got to pay a lot of folks on to get a lot of things done. We're going to find out if the songwriter is going to get anything in on this. Probably more frivolous than anything. Just getting his name out there. And of course, getting us to say All I Want for Christmas Is You in June to get you in that early mood for Christmas, which is still 6 months away. Let's look at our teaser story for today. Tomorrow we'll explain the full details of teaser stories. But what this is a story that we may talk about going forward tomorrow. If you guys vote this up with the engagement that you think it deserves, and it's in the top 15 for the rest of the week. Now, let me read the headline, give a little bit of tizzy, and then go from there. The headline for this one reads: Memphis City Council doesn't want to provide Trump security because believe he won't pay his bills after rally. Okay, that was poorly written headline. So the security believes he will not pay his bills after rally. There you go. the whole point actually is still the same. Donald Trump has a tendency to do a rally in a city and not pay them back. He did it when he was running for president. He did it when he was the president. He's doing it now that he may or may not be running for president. And Memphis is like, nah, we're not dealing with this. Security for a president is insanio. And the fact that the police and the city don't believe that Trump's people will actually do the deal to pay them back, and they'll be left on the bag for the overtime and what's going on with that. So if you deem this one a worthy competitor, a worthy story to talk about tomorrow, you can simply vote it up in your engagement. Follow us on our feeds and engage with the story as it posts. We'll explain more about the feeds in just a moment. But first, let's explain about capitalism and making money and getting entertainment and getting what you want for a great deal. Let's talk about YouTube TV. Go to thisisaconversationproject.com/YouTube TV. And this is a service that I was an extremely early adopter to. YouTube TV, when years ago when we were trying to pull the plug and cut cables and go down to basic channels and sort of streamline some of our bills, YouTube TV came along as one of the first streaming services that basically gave you the big package. And of course, gave you live TV and local channels based on your location. And it literally is based on your location. You can take YouTube TV anywhere you are. We took it with us this weekend to keep up with some things going on locally here, or going on TV here, watching a lot of things happen, including some sports. And when we got to our destination, it asked us where we were. It said, hey, you're not in your local area. Are you moving? Are you temporary? Because it gave us not just the ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC. It gave us the local affiliates for those stations so we can watch local TV. Plus, all the mainstream cable like shows you want, cable stations you want to, all the CNNs and MSNBCs, Food Networks. And we get premium channels such as Showtime and HBO. It's a great deal, and you don't want to miss out on this. Me, as a friend of you, are offering you a great chunk of time off. You're getting about $30 off of your first months of a full subscription, and you get a live TV and 85 plus channels by going to thisisaconversationproject.com/YouTube TV. This is theconversationproject.com/YouTube TV, and get in on the deal today. You will not regret it. This will be the best decision. If you've been trying to figure out how to cut the cord, YouTube TV will help you take care of it, because it'll take care of all the channels you love. Most of the channels you love. Cable does that too, in a great package. And some of the ones that you would not expect, such as they have Young Turks, or Young Turks TV as a streaming channel. Didn't know you needed it. They have News Nation. Didn't know you need that. It's there. It's all there on YouTube TV. This is theconversationproject.com is our home. The Conversation Project is a long-standing website, virtual media thingamabobber that has been looking out to have the best conversations with people around the globe for years. And this is now our flagship product, this daily, Monday through Friday video series. If you enjoy it, let us know. Go to the main website and find out more details on what we are doing, what we've done in the past, what we want to try to do again, and how to support us, especially with our sponsorships links, and of course the partnership links there as well. Our feeds are on Facebook and Twitter, twitter.com/th_conversation and facebook.com/this is a conversation project. If you follow us on Twitter and Facebook, you'll see every 50 minutes or so we post a new story. You just engage with them as you're checking your feeds. Like them, love them, hate them, share them. And the more engagement the story gets, the higher score it gets every single morning. At 5 in the morning, we pull the numbers from both Facebook and Twitter, put them in a spreadsheet that gives us an engagement score. And then Monday, today, we present it to you on a larger scale because we did the full weekend. So we gave to you 10 stories or so here from the top 30. For the rest of the week, Tuesday through Friday, we'll give you stories from the top 15 stories, usually 5 to 7 stories out of that 15, to give you as the top stories that were deemed as worthy of conversation and stories that we can turn into a full narrative that works out. Today, we're working with sort of a script. So we're trying to do some engagement things right there, making things work out. It did actually add some time, but we also did 10 stories. And so there we go. We'll see how this works out on a shorter day to see if we get through one less of an inventory. But for now, it seems to be working. If you're watching this on the J. Cleveland Payne YouTube page or the J. Cleveland Payne Facebook page, or on the J. Cleveland Payne or John C. Payne, should say, LinkedIn page, you want to get this all 5 days a week, make sure you follow us on our YouTube channel. Go to thisisaconversationproject.com/YouTube for the official YouTube channel for the Conversation Project, and you will get the and of course subscribe hit the bell for notifications, and you'll get this every 10 morning as it goes live about 5:50 in the morning. We'll get this great quality news recap from your news side piece. That's us every single weekday morning here on the internet. More things today. Today, things specifically. June 6th birthday is going out to Robert Englund, 75 years old, which I'm not going to spoil the appearance, but it has been 2 weekends. And if you haven't seen Stranger Things season 4, volume 1, you haven't seen Robert Englund do his cameo appearance into this one. And the eerily shocking irony of him being in this thing. No, he's not playing that guy, but it does get a little eerie. Also, happy birthday to Carol Effin Baskin, 61 years old today, doing her thing. And of course, I'm not sure if the Hulu thing has come out yet, but there's a limited series coming out, or maybe it has come out, on Carol Baskin, her side of the story from the Tiger King stuff. We'll see how it is. I'm not seeing that one. I wasn't really big into Tiger King. I got the jokes and played along with it, but wasn't really into it. And no, I don't watch Dancing with the Stars. Happy birthday to Paul Giamatti, 55 years old today, who is right now starring in Billions, and of course a great character actor playing all those roles that you're like, that guy from that thing. Here's the odd thing about this. I always pick 3 birthdays for the birthdays. The guy who played Doogie Howser's best friend in Doogie Howser is actually about 2 years older than Paul Giamatti. That is freaky. Today is Applesauce Cake Day. It's also the D-Day, the Battle of Normandy. So today is the day the invasion started on the beaches of Normandy. So don't forget about that. That's something to remember. But something more fun to kind of get into, Applesauce Cake Day. Applesauce cake is pretty darn delicious. I don't know if that's really it's not really popular. I don't know where I'm gonna get an applesauce cake unless I make one. I used to make a bunch of them. That's a story for another day. But Applesauce Cake Day, get yourself a little slice of applesauce cake. It's like a slice of heaven. One last thing on the way out the door. In the study by King's College London, lonelier people claim to be 24% more likely to feel tired and have difficulty concentration during the day. Another poorly rewritten thing by me. That one actually rewritten by me, so there it is. But that's a survey that's an interesting thing to take on. People who are lonely tend to be 20% more likely to feel tired and have difficulty concentrating during the day. It doesn't seem like a large percentage, but maybe it is. And a lot of it comes from, introverts get energy from people and people get energy from people. We are not solitary people. We're not meant to be alone. Some of us like to be alone. We're not meant to be completely solitary for all times. So if you're one of the lonely people, you and Eleanor Rigby don't have people to hang out with. Find someone to hang out with so you'll be less tired and be able to concentrate more. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and we are getting to the hiccups. So that means we yak for way too long. I miss radio and having my little cough button so I can cough and clear throats and things like that. Thank you for joining us for the Monday, June 6th, 2022 edition of Things You Might Have Heard. Leave your comments on the videos. Leave your comments on the websites. Leave your comments for what you like. If you notice some new things, thank you so much. Let us know how it worked, good, bad, or indifferent. Make sure you follow us on our feeds. That's the most important thing, so you keep up with the news stories. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get the news when it pops up with notifications. And make sure you stay limber, you stay on task, and you stay hydrated, because the really most important thing is that you are here. Period. And we need you here to do great things all day, all week, all month, all year long. Starting off a brand new week, a full 5-day weeks of work for most of us. So let's get in there and get it started on this Monday. So go get them. And we're already getting them in with the news stories, so you can go and start checking those out. But we'll get in tomorrow with another edition of this here program to get the Tuesday morning ruckus, not much of a ruckus, just a Tuesday morning, started with you and the news.